It took over a decade to piece together the International Space Station, 419 tons across 16 modules. China built its own in 18 months. It comprises 3 modules, 77 tons, and was fully crewed by late 2022. That pace signals something far larger underway. Humanity is now scaling up the stations and launch infrastructure needed to live permanently beyond Earth. But constructing in orbit means solving engineering problems most builders on the ground will never face. China's leap into modular orbital construction began with the launch of Tianhe, the core module, on April 29, 2021. Weighing about 22 metric tons, Tianhe carried the station's primary life support systems, propulsion, and the main docking hub. Within hours of reaching orbit, Tianhe performed a fully autonomous docking sequence, establishing the foundation for the station's future growth. The next phase unfolded more than a year later. On July 24, 2022, the Wenchang laboratory module lifted off aboard a Long March 5B rocket. Matching Tianhe's mass, Wenchang brought new scientific payloads, a dedicated airlock for spacewalks, and a small robotic arm. Automated rendezvous technology guided Wenchang to dock with Tianhe's radial port, expanding the station's capacity for experiments and crew operations. 3 months after Wenchang's arrival, the final module, Megaprojects, launched on October 31, 2022. Megaprojects carried additional laboratory space and a secondary airlock, arriving at the forward port before executing a transposition maneuver to its permanent radial berth. This maneuver, performed almost entirely by onboard guidance and propulsion, completed the station's signature T-shaped configuration. By November 2022, all 3 modules were joined in orbit, forming a structure with a total mass near 77 metric tons. The completed Tiangong supports a long-duration crew of 3, with closed-loop life support enabling missions of up to 6 months. Each step in the assembly relied on a mix of automated docking, pre-installed hardware, and careful sequencing, allowing China's engineers to realize a fully functional orbital outpost in just 18 months and 3 launches. The result is a vivid demonstration that complex space habitats no longer require dozens of launches or decades of assembly, just precision, planning, and a new generation of engineering solutions. The International Space Station stands as the benchmark for orbital construction. 16 pressurized modules, a mass of 419 metric tons, and a pressurized volume that dwarfs any other human-made structure in orbit. Its sprawling network of trusses, solar arrays, and docking ports supports up to 7 crew members for months at a time. By comparison, Tiangong's 3-module, 77 tons configuration is compact, streamlined by design, yet fully capable of supporting long-duration missions. This dramatic difference in scale is not just a matter of ambition or resources. It reflects the hard limits that every station engineer must confront. Radiation remains an ever-present threat. In low Earth orbit, crews face a constant barrage of cosmic rays and solar particles. Shielding accounts for up to 12% of a station's dry mass, forcing trade-offs between protection, weight, and launch cost. Microgravity introduces its own suite of problems. Fluids behave unpredictably, metals fatigue faster, and even the simplest repairs require careful choreography. Every docking maneuver is a high-stakes test of autonomous navigation, with misalignments measured in millimeters and margins for error vanishingly small. Logistics bind these challenges together. The 16 modules of the ISS required dozens of launches, complex berthing operations, and a steady flow of supplies. Each new segment demanded hundreds of person-hours in assembly and verification. Tiangong's engineers compressed this sequence into just 3 launches, relying on pre-installed hardware and a tightly choreographed schedule. But the underlying constraint remains: the bigger the station, the more demanding the supply chain. Every kilogram of hardware, food, water, and propellant must be lifted from Earth, funneled through a handful of launch complexes, that set the pace for what's possible in orbit. The logic of scale, then, is dictated not only by vision, but by the realities of radiation, microgravity, docking precision, and the relentless demands of orbital logistics. These constraints shape every decision, from module size to launch rate, and tie the future of space habitats directly to the throughput of ground-based infrastructure. At the southern tip of Texas, SpaceX has reimagined what a launch facility can be. Starbase is more than a launch pad, it is a high-throughput engine for space logistics. Towering 120 meters above the salt flats, the Orbital Launch and Integration Tower, known as OLIT, is designed to stack, fuel, and release the world's largest reusable rocket. Beside it, a reinforced flame trench channels the fury of Super Heavy's engines, while a water deluge system unleashes 12 million gallons per launch to protect the pad and dampen the shockwaves. Starbase is built for scale. Its rapid-fill cryogenic tanks and integrated payload processing hangars are engineered for quick turnaround, aiming to support up to 25 Starship launches per year. Each flight can deliver more than 150 metric tons to low Earth orbit, enough to loft entire station modules, propellant depots, or lunar landers in a single go. This cadence, far beyond anything achieved by government programs, does not just change how stations are supplied. It redefines the economics of building and maintaining habitats in orbit. Instead of months of planning for a single launch, Starbase's model treats orbital access as a regular, repeatable process. By closing the loop between launch, recovery, and refurbishment, SpaceX pushes toward a future where space stations expand as fast as the rockets can fly. At Kennedy Space Center, NASA has invested $4.6 billion to prepare for a new era of lunar exploration. The heart of this transformation lies in the Vehicle Assembly Building, a structure first raised for Apollo, now retrofitted with reinforced high bays and upgraded cranes to handle the immense weight of the Space Launch System and the Orion spacecraft. Nearby, the mobile launcher rolls on its crawler transporter, carrying rockets from the VAB to Pad 39B, a platform rebuilt with a modern flame deflector and a water deluge system, engineered to withstand the SLS's 8.8 million newtons of thrust. Pad 39C, a flexible new addition, is designed to accommodate commercial heavy lift vehicles alongside NASA's own launches, signaling a shift toward a multi-user future. Each component, VAB, mobile launcher, the pads, has been overhauled not for rapid fire cadence, but for reliability, safety, and mission assurance. This approach favors robust certification and careful integration over speed, with Artemis aiming for 4 to 8 launches per year as lunar missions ramp up. The result is an infrastructure built to last, capable of supporting both government and commercial ambitions as humanity pushes outward from Earth. Wenchang Space Launch Center occupies a rare position on the global map, just 19 degrees north of the equator on the coast of Hainan Island. This latitude grants a powerful advantage because rockets launched here benefit from the Earth's rotation, squeezing extra energy into every flight. For heavy lift missions, that translates into larger payloads and more direct routes to the Moon and beyond. The coastal site also provides safe launch corridors over open sea, minimizing risk to communities and clearing the way for high-energy trajectories that would be impossible from inland pads. China's commitment to scaling up is visible in the numbers. Over 30 billion yuan has been invested in expanding Wenchang's capabilities, including a new high bay integration facility and a flame deflector trench sized for the next generation of boosters. The centerpiece is the Long March 9, a heavy lift rocket under development by the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. Designed to haul up to 140 metric tons to low Earth orbit, Long March 9 will enable single launch delivery of massive station modules, lunar landers, and deep space logistics vehicles. For mission planners, these upgrades solve a persistent problem: launch cadence. Wenchang's infrastructure is engineered for frequent, large-scale launches, filling the gap between rapid-fire commercial pads and the slower, methodical pace of legacy government sites. As international projects like the Gateway lunar outpost demand diverse and reliable supply lines, Wenchang's geographic edge and expanding capacity make it a cornerstone of deep space logistics. The combination of latitude, coastal safety, and sustained investment completes a trio of launch paradigms now shaping the future of space megaprojects. Near the Moon, a new kind of outpost is taking shape. Gateway, a modular station designed for deep space operations, will orbit in a near rectilinear halo path, far beyond the protective envelope of low Earth orbit. Its first elements, the habitation and logistics outpost, known as HALO, and the power and propulsion element, are scheduled to launch in the late 2020s. HALO will provide living quarters and serve as the command center, while the power and propulsion element delivers continuous solar electric thrust and high-capacity communications. Together, these modules form the backbone for sustained lunar exploration, supporting Artemis crews and robotic landers as they move between lunar orbit and the surface. Gateway's assembly will rely on proven logistics chains, drawing on lessons from the International Space Station and Tiangong, but extending the modular approach to a more distant, radiation-hardened environment. International partners, NASA, the European Space Agency, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency have committed to supplying additional modules and technology, making Gateway both a testbed for lunar surface operations and a proving ground for commercial habitats and future Mars missions. Private space stations and orbital hotels are no longer science fiction. They are blueprints on the desks of engineers at Axiom, Blue Origin, and Sierra Space. Each company is racing to launch modules that can plug into a new commercial ecosystem, but their success depends on more than just rocket power. Universal docking standards are still a work in progress, and every new habitat must align with safety benchmarks set by decades of operations aboard the International Space Station and Tiangong. The economics are daunting. Cost models demand frequent, reliable heavy-lift launches, with guaranteed slots on rockets like Starship or New Glenn. Regulation is another hurdle. No single agency yet offers a clear path for certifying private habitats or ensuring emergency crew transfers between stations. As commercial operators push the boundaries of design and service, the real question lingers: can business models, safety, and international rules keep pace with the scale of ambition? The answer will define whether orbital habitats become sustainable ventures or remain high-risk experiments in the shadow of government-run stations. Space infrastructure is no longer distant theory. It is a blueprint rising before our eyes, as nations and companies race to build bigger, farther, and faster. Every launch pad and orbital hub reshapes what is possible. The next great leap will not just be traveled, it will be engineered. What would you build next?